You are now listening to Broken Line Podcast, presented by Fish Addictions TV. Broken Line Podcast is sponsored by Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobber, Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear, 13 Fishing, Striker Ice, Coles Resort of Bemidji, Minnesota, Aaron Eichhorst Photography.
So we're back for another podcast, and we have another freaking guest. This is good, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, you're not going to get a bunch of guests. Yeah. Now we're getting an overwhelming amount of guests.
It's almost becoming a travel destination. I can feel it coming on.
To the Broken Line Podcast.
To the studio, yeah.
To the studio.
Hilltop Studios, we call
Hilltop
it. Because in the
Studios.
daytime, you can see the lake, and we're on the hill looking down.
That
yeah.
makes sense, man.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So-
but you know, you got a no-name guest here today. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know about no name.
Oh, no name. Stormy's a no-name. I'm a nothing.
Not
just a
according
fisherman.
to a few Facebook pages out in the east side.
Yeah, so tonight we have Craig Storms, correct?
Correct.
From New York?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Okay, yes.
Free the upstate.
Okay,
And he goes by Stormy.
Stormy.
I don't know if that means you brought whatever we're sitting in right now, because if you look outside right now, it is storming.
Yes, it is.
A winter storm. So
Yes, it is.
you might have brought this. I don't
The
really
man
know.
with the polar vortex in his back pocket. I hate that word.
I don't think I got
It
that
used
much
to be called
juice,
a cold
man.
snap.
Yeah.
You know, now it's the polar vortex.
Well, we can't say cold snap, can we? Isn't that a product?
No, we could talk. We could talk about. We could talk
Well,
about,
this podcast is over. We can't talk about anything. Oh,
We
whoops.
can't talk about anything besides our own. No, that's the good thing about this podcast is we're open for everything.
Yeah, and that's
you
great,
know,
man.
We are going to get into the St. Paul Ice Show for sure with you because of a few reasons. One, it was your first time. Two, we were there. We want to talk stuff. But let's go back a little bit and talk about who are you?
Who am I?
Who is Craig Storms from New York? Which, by the way, I think you just said it. I don't know, but you texted to me too. Farthest traveler for the Broken Line Podcast.
So
Oh, absolutely. So far,
and probably it will be for a long time.
maybe
You're number one,
Yeah.
dude.
We got to give a slight shout out to Tim Furch,
Oh, we gotta-
who is going to be in studio soon.
He is being really. I'm gonna just say it right here. He is being bashful.
Yes.
He is being really.
Oh,
yeah,
it's his podcast. I'm like, dude, we have a nice cooler you can sit on. You don't even have to be on camera.
yeah. He didn't want to.
He's all nervous, man. He's all nervous. I'm gonna call him out or
He
something.
didn't wanna
How
be
can
in
he
this-
be nervous? He's a salesman.
But I know a lot of the skeletons in his closet. You know.
He didn't want to be in this pod, or he didn't want to. He doesn't really want to do a podcast because he's either going to talk about Matt the whole time, or he wants Matt here.
The bromance.
And I was like, dude, no, you have a story in the outdoor industry, and everyone wants to hear it.
Absolutely.
You have a story in the outdoor industry, and everyone wants to hear it too. So tell me your story. Who is Craig Storms from New York, which I want to go to one of these days? Maybe we should go there and fish with him. Nah,
My only connection to New York is my cousin went to college there at Rensselaer.
Rensselaer Polytechnical.
Yep.
That's a smart cousin.
Yeah, he's a design engineer for
Yeah.
Ford now.
That's for the brainiacs.
Yeah, he was aeronautical engineer, designed some helicopter rotors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
He's a good dude.
So who am I? 54 years old. Didn't really get into the outdoors until I was 18 or so.
Hey,
I know you're not the oldest in the room, right?
first time ever, dude. You're breaking records, man. Breaking.
I know. I
records.
seen you.
Thank you.
I saw you cry in the last podcast that you got to get a different podcast because all the guests are young and everything.
Yeah,
You know, it's tough being old, man.
It
but
is.
you're here.
Yeah, I
And
am.
You've traveled here. That's
Yep.
that's what matters.
Yep.
But yeah, you are the oldest, which just broadens the spectrum of the people in the fishing industry, from young to old to middle aged, and yeah. So I'm excited to hear.
Hear how it happened?
Yeah, and of
But
course,
see, I'm not really in the industry. I am a fisherman that has been trying to get in the industry for a long, long time.
and we're gonna get into that secret you told me earlier about. You're just an average fisherman, but you connected the dots for a few things,
Right.
and that's what brought you into the industry.
Right.
And we've had multiple people ask, especially after the St. Paul Ice Show, that have said, I want to know more about the fishing resumes. I want to know how to get more involved in the outdoors. I
right.
actually was messaging a guy. He Instagrammed me, and he was asking me, all these different things. He's like, okay, what do I talked to you at the sports show, but I need to know more about this and how I want to do a videography. I want to get into it, blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that we will talk about today is the fact that you were just an average fisherman. And you
average.
And you wanted to get more involved in the outdoors, and you connected the dots between a few things, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But we keep jumping around. Let's go back.
Know.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Besides an average fisherman.
Really an average fisherman. A lot of people will tell you that too. But I'm a guy who grew up in New Jersey, Jersey boy. Moved to upstate New York in '96. I got my guide's license in '92 because I fell in love with the Salmon River and salmon fishing. I had a great clientele list for salmon fishing, and I was a guide on the Delaware River fly fishing. '96, we had a little life bubble, and my son was killed, my 2.5-year-old son.
Sorry about that.
And so that put a crink in life for about 10 years till things got normal, believe it or not. And the guiding business went downhill. But I've been lucky because when I was 18, I started reading magazines. And I was in the bow hunting side really hard. I mean, I was in the tree 120 days when I was young, man. And down in New Jersey, it's Iowa, it's Illinois, Montana, all wrapped into one. Small deer, but there's a million of them. You don't get bored sitting in a tree in New Jersey, And I got really lucky, and I met these 3 guys at the bar, the Gormley brothers, and they took me under their wing, and they took me everywhere, taught me everything, hunting, fishing, everything. And I ended up marrying my hunting buddy's stepdaughter. And
26 years, did you say?
26 years this year, yep. 26
There's
years.
the wife
man.
shout out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Life is a struggle, baby.
Most people think of New York, New Jersey, they think of a few different things. Like when I think of New York, like most people here that have never been there, it's New York City.
Right.
Do you even have trees there?
Right.
It's like, no, there's a whole upstate. There's a whole lot more to it.
Right.
Same with New Jersey. All they think is
Well, yeah, when
cities
you
and-
said New Jersey, I mean, I just learning, I listened to Meat Eater podcast, Steve Vernell a lot, and he goes over there hunting quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, man, they got, just a load of black bears.
Oh,
and
the black bear
the deer,
situation
I
is
mean,
crazy down there.
But you
right
look
now.
at a map and you'd think, like, I'll bet you 3/4 of that is asphalt.
That's
but
what,
it's
that's what
not.
I think when I think of it.
But
City.
it's like right up until you go from central New Jersey to northern New Jersey. Northern and western New Jersey is pretty much country. I mean, it's built up as much as it can be built up right now. Wetlands is protected a lot, but it's all commando hunting. I mean, you're sneaking in, sneaking out. The cops are always trying to get you. Then they take your tree stand spot. It's constant commando hunting, but it's huge, and it's that was the hardest thing for me to understand when I moved from New Jersey to upstate. Was sitting in a tree for hours on end without seeing a deer. That just drove me crazy, absolutely nuts. And little by little, the hunting bug wore off, and the fishing bug picked up a lot more. And 2008, a friend of mine, matter of fact, the kid that was working for me at the time, brought me up to Oneida Lake, and he turned me on to Oneida Lake ice fishing. And that changed my life from that day on, man. It's just unbelievable.
It's addictive.
What's like fishing wise? Because like I just said, New York City is what I think of.
Right.
What's like the fishing scene there? Is there? We talked about you wanting to come here and fish, but you want to fish for walleyes and not panfish. Well, this is a beautiful panfish area.
Right,
we have
right,
walleyes as well. But what's your like target species over there? Like, paint us a picture of New York fishing. What is it? What is their techniques, target species? What's New York fishing like? Because I've never been there,
Right.
And I bet you a lot of people maybe listening haven't been
Upstate
there
New
either.
York fishing is season. I mean, you go by the season. It starts. I figure my year starts in the fall with the salmon run. You got the salmon run on the Salmon River, which is one of the most fun things to do you'll ever do in your life. You're catching 20, 30-pound salmon in the river on a 10-foot fly rod, and it's dragging you up and down the river. It's just to feel the power of a king salmon on a fly rod that you can't move, that you can't budge, and you're sitting there and your arms cramping up, it's
I
phenomenal.
want to do that one day.
Without a doubt.
And when you say 10-foot fly rod, you're talking about spey casting, right?
No, just a 10-foot fly rod.
Just 10-foot. Okay.
Yep, 10-foot fly
I
rod.
suppose spey casters are, you're getting into your 12, 13, 14 foot.
We call them other things on the river. Spey casters we don't see too many of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different style fish,
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just, they have Mercedes-Benz, usually the spey cast guys,
Yeah,
But,
it's kind of an elitist
it's
thing.
chuck and duck. Don't let the fly fishing fool you. All we're doing is running mono line on fly reels, and you're using as much weight as you have to tap the bottom, because it's tap, 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 tap. And, the big debate is whether the salmon bite or don't they bite in the river. Biologically, their stomachs are closed. They're not really feeding in the river. They're there to breed, and that's it. And, there's threads online that, debate it to they beat the dead horse to death. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But most of the time what you're doing is what we call lifting or flossing. You're casting up and across, and you're just waiting for that tap, 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 tap on the bottom of the river, and the swing. When the swing comes, you're hoping that the line goes through the salmon's mouth, and you have either a fly or a hook with this mesh on it that gets hooked in their teeth, and that's when you feel them, and you go for the lift, and hopefully he's at the end of the line.
So they're opening their mouth.
Right, they're sitting there going
They are
like
there,
that.
or they're eat, like you just said, they weren't there to eat, but they once in a while do, or is it an accidental?
No, they're just breathing. They're opening and closing their mouths, breathing.
and you just accidentally hook into their mouth. And
well,
it's
not
game on.
accidentally. I'm trying to do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
You got like underwater skill goggles that you can see, like exactly.
It's an art, man. It's
I was
an
going
art.
to say
you know?
that has to be an art.
It's an art. Some guys are better than others. And there's some guys that smoke it every other cast. But I mean, it's a hit or miss thing. I mean, either the fish are in the river or they're not. You could cast 1,000 times and you're not going to make a fish bite that isn't there.
Right.
So we just came off of, this was one of our best years we've had in a long time, man. We rocked it for 3 weeks straight, man. 30 fish plus days. You're tired
Crazy.
by the end of the day. I this year I went out with the boys one time, and we caught so many fish. At the end of the day, the last couple of fish, my bicep was actually cramping because we caught so many fish, man.
man.
And I'm old. I'm 54, half crippled. And these young bucks run you for your life.
So that's your target species for like open water type deal in a sense, like river fishing.
Well, it's like it goes in seasons, So the fall is for the salmon, and we also have an outstanding walleye bite on Oneida Lake, which the shore guys just absolutely kill this year.
What's your like ice fishing target species?
My ice fishing target species is walleye and perch.
And don't you have you guys have different techniques over there, right? I mean, you guys don't do some of the same walleye perch fishing that we do.
I don't understand what you guys do with the floats. I see you guys in video all the time, and I see the yellow floats in the hole, and I don't know on your dead sticks, and I don't know what that is.
So that allows, dead stick, exactly what you said, and then when you see the float go down, there's
It's just slip.
it's just an indicator. Is that all it is?
It's just like
okay.
slip bobber fishing, just like pan fishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
because it's the rod just sitting there, you're not touching it, and when you see a fish take it, your bobber just kind of goes,
Okay.
and that's your indicator to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And everybody
Grab that
does it because in the summer you're only allowed one line.
Okay.
So in the wintertime you're allowed two. So everybody just is like,
So you guys are only allowed 2 lines up here.
yeah.
See, we're allowed 5 by us.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference,
Yeah, it can get
Now-
it can get a little complicated. You can be, you can also have tip ups.
Right.
You can only have 2 tip ups, or you can have 1 tip up and 1 jig rod, or 1 other rod.
Right.
So is that 5 with tip ups, or do you literally drill 5 holes in front of you with 5 different rods and you put them in rod holders or something? Like how does that happen in ice fishing season?
Well, the way and ice fishing, usually you have your jigging hole. You know, you drill one hole for your jig rod, one hole for your flasher, and then you have a dead stick hole in the shanty with you. You know, so you have a dead stick rod, and then some guys jig two-handed where we're at.
That's crazy. Just
Oh yeah, man.
So you put a flasher in a separate hole just so you don't get the
deucer hooked up. Yeah, you know, just because I have room. You know, and now it's gray area, and the wording is very vague with the New York DEC about what it considered a rod, you know, and now with the tip ups that hold rods, you know, that was a big what is it or what isn't it, you know. But I believe, and don't hold me to it, but I believe now we can have 5 total rods in the water. You know, I believe that's what it is now. You know,
that's crazy.
I could see that here for walleye fishing because they can get really slow, but you couldn't do that pan fishing here.
No, see, and I don't know nothing about pan fishing.
There's not a big panfish scene.
Oh, there's a whole big panfish scene.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. It's all, you know. I never caught the bug for panfish. You know,
Gotcha.
Walleye is, you know, I like big fish. You know, and walleye is bigger than panfish. You know, but we have Big Bay on Oneida Lake where you have a whole contingent of flatfish guys that's all they do, you know.
Flatfish guys.
Yeah.
Hey, can I steal that from you?
There you go. Flatfish guys.
Flatfish guy. Oh yeah, you were saying something about you. He was talking about coming up here, and Tim Furch was like, "Oh, I can slay you in some, you know, awesome panfish." He's like, "I don't want to see a flatfish. I want to see a walleye." And I was sitting there flatfish. I'm like, "Yeah, you hold it in your hand. You got a nice flatfish."
Yeah, it's flat.
One of our old staff members was good at flatfish holds.
yeah.
Good flatfish holds.
You know, can you imagine that, Furchie, though, right? I finally come up here after talking to him for 5 years on the phone, right? And he says, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "I want to go on the Red. I want to go walleye fishing." He says, "Oh, man." He says, "I was going to take you out pan fishing." I said, "Wait, so you're going to take me to your favorite panfish lake, sit there and beat on me all day long with catching fish after fish, and I don't know what I'm doing?"
Well, the good thing about a lake he probably would take you to is probably a pristine, like, northern Minnesota,
Hardly ever
Canada
touched.
feel,
Right.
hardly touched type lake.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't know where he will want to take you. But I was just talking, he wants to go to Red tomorrow, and I'm just like, well, it's getting colder, I guess, but all the scene with Red Lake, man.
Yeah, I know. I
the
heard
last
you guys.
week and a half
I heard you
has
guys
been-
had a bad scene. We lost 4 guys last year.
Yeah,
We lost 4 guys, and two of them were very accomplished, veteran panfish guys.
Usually we don't lose people.
Yeah.
Something crazy has happened. You know, they fall in, they get out. But
Right.
when different stuff is part of the puzzle and we lose someone, it's a big deal around here. And it hit social media news and everything as a big deal.
Everything's
It's
social, right?
sad deal.
Yeah.
But so losing 4 people, that's also horrible. And how, you know, you start to think, well, how did you let it get to that point? What happened? What were the pieces that led to that? And
Right.
and how do we fix that?
Right.
And one of the things we eventually want to talk about again is just, you know, we've talked about safety, ice safety, but I feel like you just need to bring it up more because you never know. Like I don't know if it was you that said it or someone, they said there's no, even in February.
Yeah.
There's no safe ice.
I've gone through twice.
You've
Both
gone
times-
through twice, really?
Yeah, both times have been in, mid to late January.
Wow.
There's no safe ice around.
No.
You know?
So
There's
people need to
nothing.
be smart and check
Yep.
it. Don't try to be the king.
Spud, baby.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know how many people I think they're just too cool for a rope
Or spud.
or a spud or having 2 people. They just go.
Right.
And that's
That and it's just, years of not ever going through. You just confidence.
Become
you know?
desensitized, you know?
Yeah, desensitized. That's a great way to put
know?
it. Great way to put it.
Ice is dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Ice is dangerous.
Yeah,
Cold
for sure.
water is cold. One time, it was late season, and we have at the end of Oneida Lake we had Sullivan Beach, and that's where we all end up at the end of the season. That's the last ice, right? So, so we're all out there and we're hammering the walleye, absolutely hammering them, right? And all of a sudden, Shane yells over to me, "Stormy, we moved 167 feet." I said, "Shane, man, your thing is wrong. Your GPS is wrong. We didn't move." "Stormy, we moved 200 feet." So he gets out of his shanty, he looks, and the ice broke away from the beach.
Yep.
So now we're floating, right? And we got probably 100 yards to the beach. So here we all are. We all gather up, the fire whistles going off, everybody, the rescues are coming, right? It's this big deal. The news actually comes, right? It was insanity. And so we all line up, all in order, and we just jump in, and we carry our shanties floated.
Oh, so you swam back.
Yeah, we walked in. It was only waist deep, So we jumped in, walked ashore, and then we had some poor guy with a sled out there, right? And he was going back and forth
Just
like a
cranking.
maniac, trying to figure out how to get it in, right? So Shane and Wet Sleeves thought of the idea of a big, huge piece broke off. So they drove the sled onto the big piece, and they floated the sled to shore on the
Jeez,
iceberg.
that would have
man.
been some footage right there.
Oh man, we got pictures. It was unbelievable. The news came and interviewed him. It was funny, man.
How did? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna kind of backtrack a little bit. How did you said you were talking to Furchie for 5 years? How did you guys meet up? There's got to be a little story there.
How did I meet Furchie? Well, I call cold people. Cold people.
call
There you
people.
go. Yeah,
Cold
that's my gig, connecting dots. That's what I like to do, and I'm good at Facebook. I'm good at connecting dots on Facebook. I'm good at social media. And Furchie just started with Stryker, and I just called him up and gave him some pointers, which he totally hated it at the time, but he learned to see Stormy's ways, and once in a while, he had Stormy nuggets, little bits of gold, and slowly we became, good friends, and he did a hell of a job with Stryker, and it's, anybody talks float suit now, it's Stryker, right? Even though the Ascent is a better suit now, but,
You talk about the whole connecting the pieces. That this kind of leads into the next thing about the St. Paul Ice Show, but let's kind of start with the connecting of the pieces. So you were telling me that you're just an average fisherman, and you saw online that there was a company, and that was Dakota Lithium, that was doing lithium batteries for other substances outside of the fishing industry, ice fishing industry.
Right.
So you decided to connect the dots between them and the ice fishing industry and talk to them and pull them in, and now you're rocking with Dakota Lithiums.
Correct.
And because of that, you've now stepped into a different set of shoes in the ice fishing industry.
Right.
And now you were here at the St. Paul Ice Show for the first time. So talk to me about the connecting the dots with them, a little bit of your backstory on the Dakota Lithiums.
Right.
Because you are donating lithium battery.
A 10 amp hour lithium battery.
So, and to get that, we're going to message us on Facebook to get in the drawing to try and win that Dakota Lithium battery. What should we do? I always look at you, but I could just...
Hashtag Furchie.
Hashtag Furchie.
Boom.
There you go.
There we go.
Hashtag Furchie.
Furch, Ferch with a Y at the end would do plenty. So
Now let's go
Furchie.
IE.
That's what
IE.
I do. Hashtag Furchie, IE.
Hashtag Furchie, i.e. Send us a Facebook message, man. Furch
He's
is
gonna
gonna
hate
love
us.
Oh my God, he's going to kill
Send
me.
us a Facebook message to get a chance to get an awesome Dakota Lithium battery. Now, Dakota Lithium batteries connecting the dots. Tell me a little bit about
All
how
right.
you did
So we all know when Solar Sportsman came out that that's the future. Lithium is the future. We all know that. I'm a gearhead, always have been a gearhead. Always looking for the newest and latest. When I was at the show, I always go to the mom and pops booths before I go to the big box booths.
Same here, like the mom pops.
And so I just Google search lithium batteries, and lo and behold, I find Dakota Lithium batteries. And I'm looking, I go to their site, and then they have 7 and 10 amp hour batteries on their site for sale for $99, a 10 amp hour battery. A 7 amp hour battery was only $67 online. I'm like, there it is, because the other company was so
Higher.
They were so out of the range and price point that nobody could buy it. It was bad. And so I said, under $99, that brings everybody into the ball game. Called him up, gave him the Stormy spiel, and he says he vetted me very well, so I don't know what that entailed, but
I think you talked right.
yeah, it worked. The Stormy Spiel worked, and I pitched them right, and I pitched them hard, and but I backed it up with facts. And here we have a lithium battery now. Now, Steve Foss, you guys know Foss, right?
Yeah, I know Steve.
We sent him a battery 2 weeks ago. He just messaged me today. He has had it on his Humminbird 45. Mm-hmm. He ran it nonstop for 56 hours.
Ooh.
All right? 56 hours, man. Now, for all you guys with Markhams, for all you guys with cameras, where you can't get a whole day out of a battery, these lithium batteries are going to give you that whole day and maybe a little bit more, And the thing with the lithium battery is that it's a clean, consistent energy source, whereas and this is all new stuff that I learned, by the way. This is another part about connecting dots. You're always learning something new industries, so.
Yep.
And so with the lithium batteries, there's no drop down. What the lead acid battery is, I like to think of it like a brand new car, taking it off the dealer's lot. As soon as you take it off the lot, you're losing $20,000.
Right.
Well, with the lead acid batteries is you're never going to reach that first charge ever again.
Right.
So it's always a precipitate change down, and you're never getting full 12 volts to your machine, and with the lithium, you're getting that, and for all these new electronics that are drawing big wattage, this is, for me right now, last week, eyes wide open, knowing what I did, it was perfect time, perfect place, perfect product. The learning curve was done already, really, about lithium batteries. Everybody knows that's the next step. I just found one in the right price point for everybody to use. And we were sold out by Saturday afternoon. It was incredible.
That's
there
awesome.
was a point Saturday afternoon when it got crazy that we were 4 deep in our booth. And they were just throwing cash and credit cards at us, man. Just give me one before we sell out, man.
So an awesome people because the whole thing with people wanting to get involved in the outdoors and volunteering at different booths at the sports show and taking your social media to the next game, all that good stuff. You took a situation where you opened your eyes to figure out how you could possibly do something to help benefit the average fisherman, and you took advantage of something that wasn't in the market of fishing,
right,
and you brought it to fishing, and it turned out to be the right call on that.
Right.
And that's perfect for people who want to get more involved in the outdoors,
right,
is they can do something like you did, because
right,
now look at you.
right,
You're at the sports show, you're selling stuff, you got a little name and brand with them.
right.
And here you are sitting at the Broken Line podcast.
Here I am, man, in Bemidji. And I said it right, too, right?
That's
I
two.
said it right.
You got it twice.
You got it twice. So now get into let's all three of us just get heavily involved for a couple minutes, or more than a couple minutes, on the sports show. We just got back from the St. Paul Sports Show. By the time this gets out, it'll be a week or so. But Patrick, what was your favorite thing about the sport? We're just going to go around the table like we're sitting in camp or something. What was your favorite thing about the sports show, product-wise, just being there as a whole, just everything that came about you on the 2 days? Well, the first day you went there with your daughter, and you were the consumer.
Yep, that was her first St. Paul experience. My first one was actually the 4th annual St. Paul Ice Show, and it was I think it was in the Target Center at the time, maybe. Something like that.
Somewhere over there.
There was 12 to 15 booths.
Oh, that's it? Really?
Yeah, it was like a little horseshoe.
Wow.
And now we're at the River Center, and
it's 3 rooms.
It's I talked to a gentleman on the phone last night that's going to be getting in touch with us, and we talked about the St. Paul show, and on that Sunday night or that Monday morning, I'd be like, well, man, I'm glad that's over. But I guarantee you, when the end of August hits, you hear, man, I can't wait for the St. Paul Ice Show.
Oh, yeah. First day I'm going down there, I'm like, yes, back again for another
By Sunday,
year.
you're like, I never want to do this again.
Sunday about noon, the Vikings came on, and I'm looking around, and there's a Vikings game. Saturday, there was a Wild game at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And then Sunday, there was the Vikings game. So I was like,
Don't forget about Katy
Katy Perry.
Perry, too, was
Perry
there.
at a concert. And Thursday night there was a hockey game, so there was a lot of traffic over in that area. But man, Sunday my feet were itching because you're standing and you're talking, a lot of vocal. You're stopping everyone, and you're talking fishing, and that's. I think for the consumer walking around, I think one of the best parts is just physically forget the product, but let's talk to the people and let's talk and hear and listen and see. And it was a good time. What was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part is always.
Oh, I see it in your hand.
Well, this is my favorite thing of all the things. I spent $5 at the show, and it's been the best purchase I've ever made at any St. Paul ice fishing show. But my favorite part is always bumping into my buddies that I only see maybe one time a year, and it's at that show.
Right.
I ended up spending most of Saturday down in the Reed's booth selling augers. And it just.
And what was it? Like 40 minutes, you sold over 15 ions?
Just between 15 and 13 Eskimo and ion augers.
In like about 40 minutes or so?
About 40, 45 minutes.
Wow, man.
And that just gives you an idea of if that's one guy selling at all the booths, just think of the traffic that people were moving.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it was.
Like you said, you were selling out Saturday. I mean, it's crazy for the people who haven't been able to come to the sports show. They need to get there.
Right.
Next year, take 3 days, take 1 day. Some people come multiple times. Take a day or two off from your fishing if the ice is good or ice is not good. And come down and talk with people like you. Talk to people like Patrick. Talk to people like me. Talk to all the people you possibly can in the ice fishing industry because they're all in one building.
Right.
And you can spend hours there and you find good deals. You find good new products for the year. You get to also talk to hosts of TV shows. You get to see, hear, and interact.
You're in there.
It was awesome.
You're in the business. You everybody in the business is there at that show.
Is there,
you know, big and small. You know, my biggest thing was meeting Dave Gens, you know. I've wanted to meet that guy.
Well, what about Spider-Man?
Who's Spider-Man?
Didn't you see Spider-Man walking around?
I saw Captain America. Captain America. I saw him and Gens take a picture together. You know? I saw that.
Dave's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who, Gens or Captain America?
Gens.
Yeah.
Captain America's pretty awesome, too. I mean, I'm not going to dog him.
So what was your
my
best?
My favorite find was this bad boy right here.
So get to the story on how that became, because I know a couple weeks prior we were filling
this
up.
AMSOIL synthetic Sabre 2-stroke oil for 5 or 6 years. And I can only find it in a little bottle. And I've always had to find a syringe to draw out the right amount because it's I think it's 100 to 1 or 80 to 1. So 1 gallon of gas is 1.6, 1.3 ounces. Well, that's tough to measure out when you got this little pint bottle.
So 3 weeks ago, he's in the back of his Jeep in my parking lot trying to syringe out the properness to put in his new, he got a brand new Eskimo rocket this year, so here he is with like this needle from a hospital, and he's like, So he saw that and he lit up.
Yeah, and I just walked into the booth. They just had a little booth, and I was just going to talk to him about this SaberTech.
Right.
I love it. My augers just run so good, and I don't have to summarize them. You know, it stabilizes fuel, and I've never had an issue with it. And I said, my intentions were to ask them if there was some sort of special device to measure this stuff out, because all I got are these bottles.
Right.
And I started telling him about the syringe and stuff, and he's like, hold on. Turns around, shows me a whole case of these. This is measured out 1.5 ounces.
Okay.
So it's just a grip, rip, pour it in, and go.
And there you go.
And
So you got what, 5?
I got 4 of them for $5, and I'm not like I said, I'm not young anymore. I just got cortisone shots in my knees yesterday.
Yeah, you're feeling good though.
I read your knees.
Oh, dude, I feel like
we can go for a run.
I feel like $1 million.
What's the best thing about a cortisone shot? The lidocaine that comes right before the cortisone, because I get cortisone shots on my shoulders and my ankles, and when it's throbbing bad, you know.
Well,
and get that first shot, and it's like
she just sprayed the side of my knee with something.
Right.
It wasn't lidocaine. It was just but it was super cold.
Right.
And she jammed that in there. She's like, "Is that hurt?" I said, "I've been dealing with no cartilage and arthritis in my knees for 12, 13 years. There ain't nothing you could do to them."
This is beautiful.
But I'm not a marathon hole driller. Right. You know, if I have to drill more than 10 holes, then I'm not in my right spot.
Amen.
So
brother.
I bought 4 of these, and I figure I go through about a gallon and a half worth of gas every season.
Right.
So I just bought 4 years of oil for $5. People laugh, but I catch
People are like, how can you be on a fishing show and be hardcore when you go through that much
here's the secret. I have a bunch of people around me that are half my age that are more than happy to run around like a macho man drilling holes all day.
He picks up his auger, looks around and goes, all right, there's 5 of them drilling. I'm going to set mine down.
Occasionally I'll throw out there, hey, do me a favor. I'll just a few yards that way. Thanks, bud. But another pro tip for the ice show, and I've talked to a couple of years ago, I was actually working a booth, and this gentleman bought 6 custom rods at $100 a pop. And I said, man, I don't want to offend you, but dropping $600 on just ice fishing rods, it's in my mind, that's a little crazy, I mean, my first car was $400, and I said, do you mind, do you save up for this show? He said, all year.
Yeah.
Whatever overtime I pick up, I have a little separate bank account, a little freebie bank account, my overtime, a certain percentage of my paycheck. So there's a pro tip. If you really want to have a good time at St. Paul Ice Show, start working your overtime now.
Start saving your money.
Take 5% off that paycheck, put her in a savings account, and go there with a mad bankroll.
Well, you can go there and spend a lot of money, but damn, do you get some good deals?
If
you do it right and price it out, go to the right companies, and go one day, maybe go the last
and
day.
There's what I was surprised about is there's so much repetition. You know what I mean? Different stores, different companies, but a lot of them selling the same products, companies, brands.
Yeah.
But all different prices, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so so we're, let's just say Eskimo booth, Striker booth, 13 Fishing booth, and Acme booth. Let's just pick those 4 from Fish Addiction side. Those are all booths where you go there and you can learn product, see product, feel product, and then from there you can't buy anything from those booths.
Right.
You have to then go to the retailers.
Right.
Once you go to the retailers, then you go into Reed's, or you go into Up North Sports, or you go into those type of things.
Right.
The
Thorn
General
Brothers.
Place, Thorn Bros,
Right.
the Joe's Place. I think we nailed all of them there. And that's where you go and you figure out the deals, because those are the
Right.
people that have their shops and they sell the stuff. They buy them all from the Eskimo and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, that's where you're competing, and it takes. You take a day to walk through it, like literally a day to walk through it.
Right.
And then sometimes you come back the next day going, okay, I've seen the whole show. Now I have to go price point and then figure out how much money I want to spend and what I'm going to walk out with.
Yeah.
Right.
And you could spend some money, but damn, you get some good things.
I think most guys that I talked to this past weekend, they knew what they were looking for before they walked through the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have their plan, and
a lot of this stuff is out before. Like,
these companies, they put that stuff out a couple months before just to get the.
And the good companies are, they're ripping it on social media, weeks before St. Paul even comes up.
I mean, you're sitting there, and for Fish Addictions, we were giving away shirts, and doors open, and you have the hardcore people. They run through everything just to get through. Like, do you still have a shirt? Do you still have a shirt? And it's like, yep, 3XL, 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 2XL, 2XL. It's like, all right, we're getting rid of our big ones here. Here we go. And it's like, those are those hardcores. They come in with their buckets that they got at the front door.
Right.
Like, shoving stuff in, and once
That's
you get all your
another
good
thing.
stuff, then
go
you
ahead.
walk around.
Yeah, that's another thing that that blew me away. VIP.
The lines.
You actually have people that pay above ticket price to get in an hour early to walk around with less of a crowd.
Yep.
I mean, hardcore.
And I mean, the lines for VIP is thick.
I was shocked
People are
at
getting
that.
there 4, 5, 6 in the morning just to get in
Just
there.
to go.
These are the definition of you truly know the hardcores
Right.
fishermen, and these are the fishermen that they have a game plan on their mind, and they're going there for a mission, and they almost don't even want to see us in a sense. They're the people that they want to rush through and figure out what they want.
Right.
Going back to my favorite thing of the whole show is being able to, I used to work for Clam and Vexlar and those other companies. So being able, like he said, to go back and see, and this is the only show I go to. Fish Addictions makes a presence at 12 different shows. Iowa, South Dakota, Wisconsin,
Milwaukee,
North Dakota,
Right.
Duluth, the whole works. Blaine, I only like to go to the St. Paul Ice Show, and I only like to go there because, one, I get to physically have have the Fish Addictions booth there. It's the only
Right.
show that we physically have a booth for Fish Addictions. The other ones we have a presence there.
Right.
So I get to, talk about people with the fishing show and try to get the word out. And then seeing all my old friends at Clam and Vexlar and Freybill and all those things, because which we've talked about so many times, is like the average consumer sometimes doesn't think that we, in our color gains, that we just, we don't.
The Crips and the Bloods.
Some of the younger ones, they're hardcore with specific colors. They're like, I want to rep blue hard.
Right.
I want to rep red. And then they comment on social media, and it's like hardcore.
Right.
It's like what they don't know is that like he'll go get dinner with a Freybill guy after the show
Right.
because we're friends.
Right.
Forget the colors, forget the companies, forget the logos on your jerseys. We're all in the fishing industry, and it's a small industry, and we all like to have fun, and we all like to meet each other. So my favorite thing is seeing everyone, for sure.
Right.
The second thing that's my favorite is being able to talk to people. That's the whole reason why we have the Broken Line podcast, is so we can physically talk.
Right.
We can talk about subjects and talk about people and talk about fishing and hunting and the outdoors. Well, when you're at the show, now you have all those people that are on Ice Fishing Minnesota and your page out east, and
Right.
which is what?
Oneida Lake Diehards.
There you go. And it's a blurb. And you have the Ice Fishing Connections. You have the Ice Heads.
Right.
All those pages on Facebook are all these consumers
Right.
that are sitting there just talking about different stuff, whether it's negative, drama, positive.
Right.
Go fish here. Look at this idiot that fell in there. Look at this. So when you get to the show, now here you have all these people walking by, and instead of them having the keyboard,
Right.
they're now right there verbally to talk to you. And they
Right.
can sit there and they can be like, oh, I love the show, or blah, 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 or Broken Line Podcast. I don't know how many people came and talked positive stuff about Fish Addictions TV
Right.
and about the Broken Line Podcast. So my second favorite thing is being able to talk to people about the Broken Line Podcast, about Fish Addictions TV,
Right.
about our new season, which comes out January 7th, 10:30
Blurb.
a.m. Sunday. I don't know how many times I said that. And then just being able to just talk fishing with people.
Right.
And that's what we enjoy doing. And he was there Saturday, and he was having people coming up, and people are coming up and getting pictures, and they're getting their Fish Addictions gear, getting their Broken Line stuff, and it was fun. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorite things.
I all right. Here's the perspective from the guy from back east, okay, who considers the St. Paul Ice Show the Mecca. We got to come down and bow down before the St. Paul Ice Show, We don't have an ice show back east. We don't have an ice show. They've tried a couple, whether it's the wrong time of year to have the ice show, but they haven't been supported very well, both by manufacturer and by the public. And that's a shame. That's a shame. But the St. Paul Ice Show, it was everything I knew it was going to be, and especially coming to it, running a booth and selling something. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience for me, both as a fan of the sport and as a brand that's selling something, So it was everything I thought it was going to be. And the best part about these shows is we all know what the big box stores have. We all know what the big brands have. I love going to the booths where
The
it's mom and
knickknacks,
pops,
the knick-knack ones,
you
yep.
know, and there's like one of my favorite things this year is the Mad Duck rod handle. I mean, I haven't fished it yet. I couldn't tell you how good it is, but just the innovation to come up with a handle like that and have the guts to do it and to bring it to market. These guys have put everything into it, put so much money into it, and there they are.
Yeah.
And they were the hit of the town, They really knocked it out of the park with that booth this year.
There was always a ton of people there at
Yeah.
that booth. I walked by a couple times, and I'm like you. I dabble with product design and stuff and whatnot, and I enjoy that part as well. Seeing the mom and pop, the guy grinding out in his garage. I think I got it. I'm going to bring it to the show.
Yep.
That's super cool.
One of the things I liked was it was by the Reed's thing. It was it drilled. You could drill a screw into the ice, and it locked into it. And if your fish comes up into the hole, and falls off at the hole, you just push down on it and it flips
With your
up in
foot.
the hole and stops the fish.
It's like a trap door.
Wait. That was upstairs, right?
No,
No,
there
it
was
was
one,
downstairs.
There
There
was
was-
a couple.
Because I got
similar.
one. I did a live on one that it was a cage that fit
Yep,
down
that
into the
was-
hole.
That was upstairs. This
That
was
was
a different
upstairs.
one.
That
So-
was something, man.
So we're starting a tech tip in single episodes that we're together, and that's one of the ones on my list is that cage system that goes down and it shuts off right at the bottom of the hole.
Right.
So you get the fish anywhere in the hole. You shut it, you lose it, you pull the cage up. Well,
Right.
this one was similar. You hit the lever and it just popped up in the hole, and then you just pull it up, and the fish can't get away. So that, I mean, those are two cool. So that was a cool thing I saw. I didn't get to walk around as much because I was the only one in my booth.
Right.
I did walk around a little bit, but probably the one thing you said, one thing you bought, the one thing that I bought was probably a chicken strip basket from the convenience section,
From the what?
from the convenience store or whatever.
The chicken
concessions.
nuggets?
Yeah,
Oh my God, they were horrible.
they were bad.
Oh my
You had-
God, they were horrible.
You
man.
had the pizza for $11.
Oh, the
That was-
$8 chicken nuggets that were you couldn't even chew them. They were so hard.
A lot of barbecue sauce, my
Oh
friend.
my God!
Why
Did
pizza
did
tastes
that
like
soften
that?
them up any?
No.
The bar.
The pizza that I had, I swear the crust was made out of old, chewed up Cheerios.
It was
It was
bad.
horrible.
The best thing at the concession stand was the $5 hot dogs.
So that was the one thing that they can fix is probably the food. But
Yeah.
For us, we have, working in a booth, we have the trailer out back, and the trailer we had sandwiches and Gatorades and water. So
Oh, you're just telling me this now. I see how it is, bud.
I did say it. You said you wanted to go to a pizza.
Yeah,
Nothing like spending $11 on a piece of pizza. So what you bought that rod? What was? Is there anything else that you bought that?
Oh, the beaver. Beaver. It's these. It's like a plastic, a little plastic, like a Mackie plastic or something like that, but it's made out of beaver tail.
What?
It's made out of beaver tail. It's a piece of the beaver tail. And it's made with, and it's got the oils in it and everything like that. And the thing moves. It has such fluidity in its movement. And the guy, watching these guys jig in the fish tanks, and it was just an amazing. I did a live on it. It's on my Stormy Outdoors page. And it was just really cool because he hand cuts them all. He hasn't figured out how to mass produce the cut yet. So he hand cuts them all, packages them up, and it's professional package and everything, but it's part of the beaver tail, and I think,
Crazy
wow.
innovation, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just,
I'm gonna dig through. I'm gonna dig through your page. I want to find that because I know a lot of guys that beaver trap, and I know fish don't eat beavers because beavers are big. But I'm
but
really
it's the
intrigued.
oil. It's the oil. It's in the meat itself, so
Yeah.
it's impregnated with,
It's got to be tough as nails too.
Oh, it is. He says he could catch a limit of crappie with one piece of this product. And it's tiny, man. It's tiny.
Crazy.
I just found my tech tip. That's cool.
We have friends that go out and get them, so it'd be interesting to see what.
Yeah, no, I'm still waiting on if Brewer when he hears this. I'm still waiting on my back legs from a crock
Yeah,
pot.
he did. Yeah.
Another thing that I find enlightening is that how this area, Bemidji, did it again, man.
Nice.
3 for
Nicely
3, brother.
done,
3
dude.
for 3. How this area is like the nucleus for the whole ice fishing industry.
You're the first person that has came from a far ways away that I've literally heard you say it 2 or 3 times now, and I want to agree 100%. I wish I could get more fishermen to this area in a positive and negative way, right? This is our home. We want to keep. Well, at the same time, let's get some tourism up here because this, like I said, 30 minutes from here, 400 some lakes,
Right.
and it's mecca for pan fishing and walleye, muskie, eel pout, sheep's head, whatever you want. We got it here, and a lot of people blow by us and they go right up to Red Lake, and they blow by us and they go up to Lake of the Woods. And you're right. This is.
But, I mean, a
he
lot of
said
the
how many
pros-
outdoor people are here is unreal, and it's
a lot of the pros that everybody sees on TV or on YouTube or whatever, and a lot of the industry is all right here, and it's just pretty. It's a fun fact that I noticed coming out here and learning more about a lot of people, and this is like the hotbed of where you people grow or something. I don't know.
Well, in Beltrami County here, there's a lot of lakes, but you just head east just a little bit, and you run into Itasca County, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously the big draw. A lot of the pros want to be in and around water, and you're right though. There's a lot of product testing that goes on up here from various companies, and
it's very incestuous. You know what I'm saying? You guys are a small little community, so you can never talk bad about anybody. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who knows who, and it's like living in upstate New York. You don't know if it's their cousin or brother or uncle or something like that.
When I went to when I was working in Wisconsin for the Next Bite, Dusty said, he was one of the editors of the show. He said, you can pretty much throw a penny in Bemidji and hit someone in the outdoor industry.
Yep.
I said, pretty much.
Yeah, it's true, man.
We
true.
breed around here, but this isn't also where we breed, but where people come from all over, because like you said, product testing,
right.
commercials, TV shows,
yep.
magazines are being formed here,
yep.
media days, media packages from the northwest angle down.
Yeah.
And
yep.
the closer you get to below Bemidji, the more city-wise it turns into, like from Brainerd and St. Cloud. And all of a sudden, people want that Canada feel in the background of whatever
right.
they're shooting. They want
right.
no houses for products. They
right.
want good fish. And
right.
it's here.
Yep. It was pretty cool, man. It's been a great experience all the way around. I mean, considering a month ago, I almost died. You know what I mean? I was in the hospital for 5 days with double pulmonary embolize.
Yeah, and you were military, you said?
I was in the Merchant Marines
And that was
during
part
Desert
of this
Storm.
problem
Yeah,
of you almost dying.
Yeah, I've got Gulf War syndrome, and it's a Gulf War syndrome is a combination of like 8 diseases that just attack it once.
And you just beat cancer.
I beat kidney cancer last year.
So this guy's living on the edge of life, is what.
Tough as nails, man.
Huh?
Tough as nails.
Gotta be. He's gotta be.
I almost want to give him the painting behind you.
Yeah,
That'd be you, dude.
Can we mention that painting? Because this will be the maybe second episode that the painting's on. So we're 85% done with our new room, and we'll talk about it in a single podcast about our room design. So it's almost done, but just in a camera shot over his shoulder, say what's up with that painting?
Okay, that came from my parents' house. I don't want to know the backstory of how they got it, but it's been hanging in there since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that is I believe it's an acrylic on black velvet. You can go ahead and give her a rub there.
Yeah, it is acrylic.
It's acrylic on black velvet. And yeah, we've got it's a Matador.
Straighten it up a little bit for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
So you
taking on the bull, man.
You wonder why that's in a
But we
outdoor
had one,
podcast?
I had one growing up at my house too.
One like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And we had the spears that they stick in them.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had them because my family's from Spain, my mother's side.
Okay.
I have family in Spain.
Yeah.
I go to Spain every 3 years.
Do you really?
Yep.
Yeah.
South Valencia area.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I have 3 cousins that live there.
Oh,
So we
very
go there all
cool.
the time. I love Spain.
I was in Spain when I was in Merchant Marines, and we stopped there at Rota, and it was a cool experience. It was a very cool experience.
So I remember when I mentioned to you that sometimes when we have guests that we don't familiarize ourselves with very much, we kind of snoop on your Facebook a little bit. And
I creeped you hard.
Did you creep me hard?
Yeah. I've
You
got a
didn't find
very
anything scary,
serious
did you?
question that is eating me alive.
Go ahead.
And I got to
play
know the
some music real
backstory. So I'm kind of creeping you out a little bit there, and I'm scrolling through and find this little section about music, and right smack dab there on the first line is Shakira.
are you a Shakira fan?
Yeah, I know she is. I'm a fan for looking.
Yeah, mostly yes.
Okay, that's good
And
enough
it's
reason
okay
for me,
because
dude.
she's in her 40s, so we're not creepy old men.
She's in her 40s.
Yeah, believe that.
Oh.
Man, if I looked 1/3 as good as that,
Hey, but it's the fact that he knew she was in his 30s that makes me
that's even
know
better.
that he knew a little bit about Shakira.
Well, remember when she was on The Voice?
Yeah.
Okay, that's when I did a little Facebook creep, and I looked her up, and I liked her to see when she comes up. You know what I mean?
Nicely
You know?
done.
I'm not a big music fan. I don't listen to a lot of music. I'm a I'm a conspiracy
I love it.
theorist.
Not one
Yeah.
Shakira song, but I am a fan.
Hand raised on the conspiracy theorists.
You know, I found out Aaron here is a young conspiracy theorist.
Don't
You know.
don't even bring it up.
Oh yeah, man. Oh
How
yeah.
about the weather machine?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a button for the polar vortex on this machine of yours?
Polar vortex. Yeah, dude, the
Polar
weather machine.
vortex is normal. Now, when you start with the microwaves, you know, pointing up into the atmosphere to warm the atmosphere and the ionosphere.
The only microwave I know
Harp.
warms Hot Pockets, dude.
Hot pockets. For my
You know, I find out he's an Alex Jones listener. I mean, we're made for each other. You know.
You know that some of that stuff's
I like
fun.
Alex Jones.
And you know, I have a few that I believe in. I'm like, yeah, I think these guys are right. There's some that I'm just like, I just sit back and watch the show like
Gay
like,
frogs.
Gay frogs.
Gay frogs.
No, the flat Earth dudes.
Oh well, that's not Alex Jones, man. That's
They've
No.
chatted on it before.
Yeah, he's
Before.
had it on there before, but those people that could think
flat Earth people are a little out there. I agree.
it's
with
entertaining as hell. I
You
mean,
know.
it's like
Here's the thing with conspiracy theorists: is if the world doesn't have conspiracy theorists, it's a messed up world because then everyone is blindsided, tunnel vision with what the news is giving you. And we all
Right.
know about the news,
Right.
right? And you know, if we open up the doors and have people like you and me that want to
Ask
do our own
questions.
research, ask questions, and take a step to the side and go down our own path,
there's a fine line between
Yeah.
asking questions and sounding crazy.
Wait a minute. Now, who started conspiracy theorist? Who started that phrase?
from Minnesota,
No, not from Minnesota. In general,
I don't know.
CIA.
The CIA.
CIA to stop because it was when Kennedy was shot.
How about the video on
Oh
your
yeah, I
thing
know what
of
you're talking about now.
it was a 9/11 conspiracy on your Facebook page, and they were doing a controlled bomb of a building, and they're sitting there videotaping it, and the things are just
The
about
van drives right in front of it.
they're just about to drop this
Oh,
building, and you hear the doof, 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 and a bus pulls up, and the bus blocks the video shot, and it said on the top like when the CIA doesn't want to let you know about
seen
controlled
that
demolition.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? Cernovich.
That was
He's,
perfect.
you know, talking about a guy coming on hard, Mike Cernovich, man. Wow. You know, Cernovich Media. But that is, you know, for the longest time, man, I mean, I took abuse. Abuse.
There's a lot of people out there that
Abuse for bringing up 9/11, man. You know, that was like sacrosanct. You can't bring it up because people died. People die all the time. You know what I mean? Well, how did two major skyscrapers fall in its own footprint?
yeah.
Oh, I hear you, man.
I
hear you.
I went on something about in the last year or so the CGI planes, and I'm sitting there like, you know, that's way far fetched, right? Like a CGI means it's computer generated,
Right.
And a computer generated airplane flew in and hit the Twin Towers, but really it didn't. It just was explosions.
Right.
And I was like, all right, these people are a bit crazy.
Right.
And then I started doing research. And then I saw videos that were posted from 2000, you know, back in the day when Twin Towers actually
Right.
fell. And I can see an airplane wing disappear behind a building that is in the distance. And I'm a computer. I do animation. I do
Right.
video stuff. I do photo stuff. And I see that and I think of all it takes is someone to do that. And, you know, of course there's thousands of people there. So
Right.
that's the other thing that doesn't
Right.
twirl my brain, all the people there. But
Right.
there's a lot of stuff that is out
Well,
there for
just like-
conspiracy
just like-
theorists.
The Pentagon.
Yeah.
No one can find a picture
They
of the plane hitting
They
or
released-
in the Pentagon building.
They
telling you,
released
boys.
seven action photos, and you don't see a plane through that.
Right.
And it's crazy
Right.
because I'm like, this is one of the most highly secured buildings in the world. I'm talking cameras on
Right,
every single
everywhere,
corner,
everywhere.
cameras from across the street at the hotels and the gas stations. Not today. If you ever are a non-conspiracy theorist and you can't say, oh, so yeah, Pentagon, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, if you believe it, you find me
Find
a
me a
video.
picture. It's
Find me a
exactly
photo.
what it. That's the way
I'm sure you
kill
guys
it.
have heard where this plane supposedly hit is where there was a bunch of kind of like shifty transaction type deals that there was paperwork on.
Oh, for the trillions that are missing in the DoD, yeah. The day before, as a matter of fact,
Right.
the day before Rumsfeld, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
it's a rabbit hole, man.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole.
You can get once you get down there, you may never come back out.
Once you start seeing dots, you cannot stop seeing dots. You know, that's the problem.
Right
So
on.
with you being this conspiracy type of person, tell me a little bit about, and this has nothing to do with that, but tell me a little bit about your organic gardening that you're into. Yo, Al, what's your hobby? Well, I'm an organic gardener. What is an organic gardener? And what does this have to do with anything? I don't know. Sometimes we break the line, but tell me a little bit about, what do you make? What's your favorite?
I don't make it. I garden. I love gardening.
You don't make in gardens. You
no, like
grow.
what's okay?
No,
sorry,
what
instead of
products?
make, grow.
He's
Yeah,
talking
like-
products.
Yeah, what
I like to
products
give
do
him
you
a hard
have?
time.
Compost tea.
To give him a hard time.
Compost tea is it was, if you go on YouTube and search compost tea, there's probably 450 million homemade videos of compost tea. Okay, and their own recipes, their own way of brewing it. What we have to realize, and I think Facebook in a big way has really accelerated the learning curve about food. You know, what is food? What is real food? Like right now, I read one thing where in the 1930s, the minerals were used up in our topsoil. There's no real minerals left. And all they're using is NPK for fertilizer. And that really doesn't give our food any nutritional value. Okay? So what the organic soil people are doing is, what we're doing is growing soil. Okay? We're rejuvenating the soil. We're putting in all the microscopic organisms to start the soil to live again, to grow again. So that's what you really want to do, is you don't want to fertilize your plants or your garden plants. You want to grow your soil, make your soil active again. And with compost tea and with a few other products, you can actually get that going again. You know, worms are the biggest thing, man. You know,
I watched a video on worms, worm farming, and basically getting the worm poop and
right, worm
working it in-
castings. Yeah, worm castings are the best nutrition for the soil you can get. You know, and that's part of the recipe for compost tea is worm castings.
Do you go out and get your own, like, have your own bait?
Do you have what?
Grubs, that kind of stuff? Like, do you get your own bait, like worms and stuff like that?
No, I
Go
don't do
fishing, or you
that. I
just-
don't do that. No, I mean a lot of guys in the group do it. You know, after a rain, they'll go out and they'll pick earthworms. You know, is that you?
Yeah, you do that once in a while with your daughter
oh yeah, we go pick night crawlers.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
when it rains.
Well, and you know what's besides
She
the
likes
fishing around here, what's really heavy around here now, it's gaining a lot more popularity, is foraging mushrooms.
Mushroom
That type of
honey.
stuff.
Yeah.
You
Mushrooms
do
a big thing here.
Dabble in that as well.
No, I don't dabble, but a couple of my friends dabble hard. You know, one of my buddies, Jay, him and his two kids, pictures on Facebook all the time. You know, hen of the woods, or I think they call
Chicken
it.
of the woods.
Huh?
Chicken of the woods.
Chicken of the woods. Yeah.
Lobsterels.
See, I'm too scatterbrained to trust myself in what I'm picking, to not kill myself or my family.
We had I think it was Brewer in here.
Yeah.
When he talked about some of the
Oh yeah,
ones
I watched
some of the
Brewers.
ones
Yeah,
that can kill you in here.
yeah. He's guiding for that. You know, and I
Yeah.
think that is so cool.
It is. It's and me and him make plans every spring to get out there. I've never picked.
Right.
You know, I want to, but I want to learn from a guy like him. And yeah, we got to do that. And then by the time we both have time to do it, mushroom season's pretty much
But,
over.
It's a short
Brewers
season.
Brewer is probably one of the most interesting people around. You know that what
he
he
is.
does for a living, what he's into, how he does for a living. It's just he's always got a story. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know.
If you want to hear any of his story, we did. I don't remember what episode it was, but
Shit, it was early.
one of the between 7 and
Oh no, it wasn't that early. It was
12?
he was what, 10?
after Furch, before Furch.
Furch hasn't even been
I
on.
don't know. He look
like
go
10.
on. Yeah, you can jump on. You can hear some of his stuff if you haven't heard his stuff. But what do you hunt? Do you?
Yeah, I don't hunt as much anymore because sitting in the tree stand just hurts me. You know, I just can't do it. And it's the reason why I really don't boat fish anymore, you know, because I can't stand. And this opener this year, you know, I'm out with my buddy, and there was a little bit of chop, you know, but the boat's slapping, boom, 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 boom,
On
boom.
your back and
I'm
knees
sitting
and
there, and my shoulders are popping out every time we hit the water. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh man, I got, you know, no more of this, and it just kills me, you know, to cast out and rip it back, you know.
So you like to do more of that open water, river style walking, fly fishing type deal, and then your ice fishing. That's your two.
Well, now that you asked, man.
Oh,
Oh.
that's our next question.
Yeah.
The kayak fishing.
Dude,
I totally forgot about that, even though I looked at it.
I'm all about the kayak right now, man. I have, it's been a 1.5-year project, and I've got it dialed in product-wise so well that I can't wait to have a couple of the big names experience it so that they can promote it. Because once people see, I mean,
We've talked about doing a kayaking show.
yeah, well, you should, because it's just like, it's, you know, how Gen's modernized ice fishing with the shanties and stuff like that. Well, the kayak industry has, you know, gone through that evolution now. They have, you know, specifically kayak fishing boots and boats, and it's sit on top, so you're not sitting there getting wet. You're not right there 2 inches from the water. You're elevated, you know. You're out of the water, and it's just. And now I'm using Native right now, Native watercraft, and they got the pedal drive system. So, and pedaling's one thing that I can actually do that doesn't hurt, and you know. You can pedal once you do a nice, easy motion. You're going 2.4 miles an hour, you know?
So you have to do it mostly calm water in a sense.
No, I've been out in Oneida 3-footers.
Hey.
No, but see, that's the thing. You're not really worried because these boats now are made for that. You got guys taking these 13-foot Slayers or the Hobies or whatever brand you want to, you know, Old Towns. They're going out beyond the breakers, okay? Out in the ocean catching these massive fish on the kayaks.
I'm this close.
Oh, dude, you got to pull the trigger. It's the way I look at it is kayak fishing now is like bow hunting is to rifle hunting.
Yep.
You know, it's exactly what it is.
They used to do float tubing.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
float tube fish, and yeah, man, it limits the amount of shit you can take with you.
Right.
You can you really got to dial in what you want to do that day. I think it helps make you a better angler, but yeah, I'm this close to kayaking. There's a model like the one that I'm looking at. I can't remember I think it's the Jackson kayak. It's
Right.
like the big rig or something, but it's got a bar. You can actually pull yourself up. You could stand up.
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah. Like the Titan that I'm using. The Titan is 13.5 inches long. I mean, feet long. It's 44 inches wide.
Yep.
I mean, a fat guy like me, I can stand up in it, and you know, I wouldn't stand up in 3-foot seas.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? But you can stand up in it, and it is. You know, I've got Anchor Wizard that drops the anchor. You know, it's a crank that sits right on your right hand side in your gear track. You just let it go, boom, falls down. You're
So
anchored up.
This is a set up kayak. I mean,
Have
like,
you ever?
Oh, yeah,
Aaron,
it's-
I've seen
have you
some.
looked into it?
I have seen some hardcore
Yeah,
fishing.
I'm a gearhead like you.
I mean, I'm
and-
not thinking of a little kayak that someone goes out in. I mean, I've seen some of the fishing ones, and they can get crazy with the
Oh,
amount
dude,
of
you can
attachments
go-
and all kinds of stuff.
You
that
start
they have.
adding that yak track around there, and you can start bolting anything you want on that.
You
thing,
know, the
son.
reason why I love bow hunting a lot to deal with customers and is the products. You know, back in the day when I was with Archery Talk and pumping out the banner ads, you know, it was mom and pops coming up with great ideas, and I loved helping them bring it to market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was an easy transition into the ice fishing industry because it was the same way.
Yeah.
You had mom and pops coming up with all kinds of cool, innovative ideas. You know, and now with the kayak thing, it is just. You can go crazy with accessories. You can do anything you want. You know.
yeah, like I said, man, I'm this close. To,
Oh, brother, I'm telling you.
I don't have my flow tubes anymore.
Right.
I bought a new boat in 2015, and the kayak or the flow tube just kind of started sitting in the closet, not
Yeah.
being used, and I miss it. So I might get another one of those this spring. But I've come really close. I really, really want.
You know, and
kayak.
a lot of the naysayers, you know, are saying,
Kayak might be better for your knees.
"Oh, your knees
You're
and your
not gonna
back."
be wet
Oh yeah,
either.
I didn't have a problem flow tubing because
because they just sit in the water,
water
true,
and nice
yeah,
and cool
yeah,
down there, and
Yeah,
that wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Plus, by summer, hopefully I'll have 2 titanium knees.
oh,
That's the goal. Can't
let's hope
wait.
so, man.
Like
Let's
a
hope so.
robot.
You're young for it, though, man.
I know
Hold out
that's
as
why
long
she
as you
told me to
can.
get these cortisone shots just to clear my mind instead of making a rash decision. Like,
Yeah.
let's throw some metal in there.
He'll be a
I
robot.
feel good now, but I know that they're still.
Right.
I mean, I was like, "Do we have to take an MRI?" She's, "Nope, I can see right here.
yeah,
These are bad shape.
Yeah.
These are bad news."
yeah.
These are bad news.
But how old are you,
I'll be 44 in January.
dude? You're young.
Yeah, I've already had them cut open 3 times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Was it that bad?
I've
huh?
had wrists, elbows, back.
Oh, you're a mess, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, loving every minute of it.
You're a mess. I'm loving to talk about it.
Hey, man, if you can't talk about it, you know, you're gonna cry. That's all. You know.
Built this character that's sitting next to you, buddy.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Do you want to hit him with some rapid, and then we'll do a wrap up and
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna add one in here. That's
add it
not
in?
here.
I added one in the organic
Uh-oh.
gardening.
Rangers or Islanders?
Neither.
You're not,
Not
a
a
hockey
hockey
guy.
head. No. Sorry.
So he's going to ask you 4 or 5 rapids. These are just short,
Okay.
small, quick answers, and they're fun. They're stupid.
but if I had to, it'd be Rangers.
Okay. Okay.
What sport are you? What's your favorite sport? on the
To
side.
watch football,
Football. All right.
golf, football,
Golf.
golf.
So are you
football.
a Giants
watching golf.
fan? Or
Giants fan and Jets fan, you know.
Giants and Jets. Got to have them both.
But I'm learning to like Buffalo,
oh.
you know.
Okay.
But I came from North Jersey, so Giants, you know, Meadowlands,
There you go.
you know.
No Patriots,
You got to give Tom Brady his cred, man. You know what I mean?
I guess.
He's
I'm not a
good.
football
He's the
guy. I'm a
go-
hockey head.
I
He's the
guess.
GOAT. You know what I'm saying? You just
He is the goat.
you just got to love to watch him if you played the game. You know, he's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
He's good.
yes. M&M's or Reese's Pieces.
Oh, Reese's Pieces.
Okay. Thor or the Hulk.
Thor or the Hulk. Don't really know too much about Thor, so I'm going to go in Hulk. Lou Ferrigno.
I already know the answer to this one. Shakira or Miley Cyrus, and we're going to go with.
You know, Miley Cyrus can sing. You know, she may be Fruit
Trickster.
Loop, but the girl can sing.
She is a Fruit Loop.
You know, but she can sing.
Yeah,
Would
she
she
can.
sing from Dolly Parton? Jolene. Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. She
I remember that
nails
song from when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and the White Stripes did a cover of it as well.
Yeah.
It's really.
I went to
really
50
good.
Dead shows, you know.
You went to what?
I've been to 50 Dead shows,
Really?
Grateful Dead shows, yeah. Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
Oh, we had a
impressive.
good crew, man. That was our thing, you know. We did tours.
The last thing I got here in this rapid fire is the polar vortex real?
Is the polar vortex real? Of course it's real. We
is
see
that
it on
really
TV.
is that really? Do you think that's really the name for it, or is it just some new made up term?
I think it's probably always been, but it just came out on television when we had the polar vortex. I think it's all part of the global warming alarmist thing, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
I
that's
just heard that comment today. Oh, what about global warming? Well, if you don't, if you remember back to like 5th grade science, we're the furthest away from the sun, and, yeah, that's part of global warming. There's a hole in the ozone that's going to let in the cold as well as the heat. So.
Well, I always wonder, geologically speaking in history, we had this was this very spot we were sitting in right now was covered in 5 miles of ice, 5,000 feet of ice or something like that, something crazy, what precipitated that warming period,
Right.
Now, if you watch Joe Rogan and you watch the 2 guys that are on, one has a meteor that came and hit and started the Great Flood theory.
I listened to that podcast.
Did you? Aren't they great?
I
them
listen
too?
to Joe every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I was
I was-
wondering if we were going to do the Joe Rogan thing.
That's for another podcast.
You know, we call them safety meetings
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
home. You know what I mean?
Turn the camera off.
I have a tendency to not listen to like the MMA stuff when he has his like,
Yeah, I
fight
don't
stuff.
listen too much of that.
But
either.
man, he's always got some like
Interesting,
crazy,
yes.
super smart, intelligent science dude on there, and it just at the end of it. All right, well, I got to rethink.
like who I can't I can't remember their names, but the two that come on and talk about that specific thing.
I can't remember. Him
Like,
either.
where would you ever hear this if you didn't hear it from like somebody like Joe Rogan or something like that? And I mean, the amount of research that they have done
yeah,
to validate their theories about the Great Flood and how it all came down. And you look at the Dakotas and they've got the little mounds, like a riffle from a huge mountain, right? And I mean, huge river. I mean, and that's the beauty of YouTube, podcasting. You know, we're learning so much. You know, it's just incredible the amount of knowledge that's out there now via this app.
if you want to hear like one of the more recent, really great podcasts that Joe did, we'll look up the one he did with Paul Stamets,
The mushroom guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you listen to that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've
Joe
liked him.
actually rears back and goes, "What?" Freaks out because he's got this hypothesis of we're basically fungi.
Right.
The whole mushroom story was an eye opener to different realms of my brain.
We're not talking cow patty
Yeah.
mushrooms. No,
If you-
we're not talking them.
What's your favorite thing about we should start asking guests. What's your favorite thing about the Broken Line? Because obviously this would be your top 2 favorite podcasts.
Right.
I know.
Of course.
What's your favorite thing about what we do here at the Broken Line?
I think it's getting to hear different people, different stories, different ways of fishing. You know, everybody's different. Like the young kid you had on the last one.
Yep.
You know, here that kid is 21 years old, right?
Max, yeah.
Yeah, Max.
We had Max, and then in between this one is
Another young buck, Sam.
Sam Moore.
Oh, yeah?
He's also young, and you're gonna like that one because it'll be out by the time this one's out. But
Right.
that one is all about how he became a content creator from Bemidji, Minnesota, college,
Right.
and now at a young age he lives down and he's working as a content creator for 13 Fishing in Florida.
Okay.
And he's younger than me,
Wow.
and some of the young people have drives, and
Right.
yeah, I like having people have the story and bringing you in and just talking about different things. And it's even when we're just us two together and we get together and we fire off different questions and we banter back and forth. It's like I've said at the sports show and multiple people is that the good thing about our podcast is in the world out there you have TV shows for fishing, you have magazines, commercials, that kind of stuff. That's all produced by people like us.
Right.
That's the only thing that's out there that isn't for fishing. That's how they get their information, right?
Right,
But what
right,
about the
right.
people that just want to sit there and talk about fishing or talk about subjects and
Right.
and learn about different things, but not have it be produced in a sense?
Right.
And the show,
Free
our
free
show's
flow.
not produced in,
Right.
in most senses. But I'm just saying that it's just another way for people to communicate and banter
Experience.
and, yeah, exactly.
It's another way for people to experience the fishing industry.
It's like Ice Fishing Minnesota or any of those forums or podcast or forums that are out there in fishing, that it's people behind the keyboards and someone makes a comment about something stupid, not stupid, asking a question, blah, 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 and then they wait for all these people to fire in. Well,
Right.
here's us looking at a conversation and we're going to fire back at each other, 2, 3, 4 people we have,
Right.
and you're going to be able to listen to someone's opinion through more than just a sentence. You're going to listen to us banter about it for a couple minutes and get our honest opinion, because with where we're at in the industry, 10 plus years of behind the scenes at sports shows and TV shows and magazines and commercials and
Right.
all that stuff, we can bring a different atmosphere.
Right, and I've been following you for a couple of years now, and
Whoa. He's been
And the
stalking
truth
me.
comes out.
eyes wide open. That's what I do.
What's the one thing you could give someone a little bit younger than my age that's trying to get into the industry with their foot in the door? You've said it a few times to me, and it's almost like I'm going to pop you in the toaster type of word. Not an ego, but
Oh, ego.
in ego.
Be humble, brother.
Be humble. The biggest
But,
thing I can say with anyone trying to get into the industry, put their foot in the door, is that there's thousands of people all trying to put their foot into the door. You need to set yourself apart from them, be different,
And
be humble. And don't
And
have a head
don't
that's huge.
Do not fear failing.
Absolutely.
Because
But don't
I
give
have,
up either.
No, exactly. I have failed. I have stormy pitched 1,000 times, man. And it was the 999th time that the stormy pitch worked. You know what I mean? And
Sometimes
here I
it
am.
takes 1 to 3
That's
years
it, man.
before someone
You know?
gets in.
It's, don't burn bridges, and be humble and just keep
Keep driving.
keep driving, man.
Pushing
you know?
forward.
I get a deer in my head sometimes that rattles around for months. I'll just call him up and give it away. Just to get it out of my head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just 'cause it drives me crazy,
So I have one more pop-up question, then we're going to do a wrap-up here.
Go ahead.
Try and keep it as short as we can, but I want your opinion from where you live and opinion from where you live. A fan messaged us and said, can you guys talk about low pressure and high pressure weather systems and how they affect the walleye bite, or let's just say a fishing bite? Let's not say walleye, let's just say a fishing bite. And let's do a difference from your part of the country and a difference from your part of the country. What would you say about a high pressure or a low pressure coming in, changing the bite, changing up, okay, today it was an awesome day. Why is tomorrow not? Because of low pressure, high pressure. So if you guys could for a minute or two, if you have nothing to say about it, then, but I think you can.
Honestly, I mean, my buddy Shane, he's the fish professor. Okay, now he follows. He has notes going back 20 years of every day you fish, what the barometric pressure is, everything, right? And he has a certain area where he likes to fish and where he thinks the barometer has to be for that bite to happen. Me, I'm more of instead of a barometric pressure, I'm more of a lunar guy. Where's the moon? You know what I mean? I believe in the lunar cycle a lot. I think there's a lot of different variables, not just one barometric pressure. What is the moon doing? What cycle is it in? Where is it? If you want.
Yesterday was the supermoon, was it not?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
only supermoon in 2017.
Oh, really? We only had one this year?
That was it.
Really?
That's what I heard.
I thought we had a bunch of supermoons this year.
I thought we had one this summer.
Yeah, we had a couple supermoons this year. That's all of a sudden
I thought I read something.
polar vortexes and supermoons. The two
the
new
end, man.
things that are happening all the time,
It's
man.
the end.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because we did have a couple this summer.
Yeah, the
I don't
summer
know
we
where
had a
I read.
supermoon.
I would agree with
Maybe
you.
it's the last one.
Lunar plays a big part. As far as barometric pressure goes, I go by what I've learned is fishing's tough under high pressure. And when I say that, I mean exactly what it is. It's pressure.
Right.
I mean, the fish can sense a high and low pressure change.
But do they sense it under the ice? Does the ice block the pressure?
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't.
I don't think it affects the pressure as much as I think they still know something's going on. I don't think it affects
This
it
is
like
when
water.
you say like, oh, my knees ache.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of high pressure.
Right.
You
Or low pressure.
I think it's high pressure.
Because you're usually aching when a storm's coming through. So it would be the low pressure.
Low pressure,
Yeah.
right. The high pressure, from what I've read over the years, is these fish can feel that high pressure, and it actually puts pressure on
Right.
them,
Their
on their
diaphragm,
stomachs,
right.
and they hunker down, they try to get deep, and they don't eat,
Right.
or they don't eat as much. So I try to fish when that barometric pressure is falling, or it's at a low.
Right.
And you can still have success as it starts to rise, but I haven't figured out quite what that certain percentage point is
Right.
where it
that
kind of shuts
sweet
off.
spot is, yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
But I think most guys, I mean, you're not going to give up a day fishing because the pressure isn't right.
right,
You know what I mean?
right, and that's where I like to be. I like to have my skills as a multi-species kind of guy, and well, that's just not going. The one term that I try to avoid saying, and I try to help correct people is, oh, they're not biting. Well, they're not biting right now. Fish have to eat.
Right.
They have to move in order to breathe. When you move muscles, you're burning calories and energy. They have to eat
At some time during the day.
at some time, multiple times. I believe that fish actually snack all day. Mm-hmm. They snack between
well, if they
meals.
only eat little things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I've experienced that crappie fishing in one day. Hammering big baits, and all of a sudden, whoop,
Right.
that bait's kind of gone. So I downsize, and I'm just use a little tiny itty bitty stuff,
Yep.
and I'll still scratch a few here and there throughout the day, and then all of a sudden, I can start using big baits again. So it's supper time.
Right.
Where they
Right.
really hammer down. So
And is that the lunar major bite?
it could be.
You know what I mean?
Could be.
I mean, there's so much written on it. There's so much written on it. It's a theory that I don't think is ever going to be proved, scientifically one way
my
or the
grandpa
other.
used to say, fishing wind from the west, fishing is the best.
Right.
From
Wind
the east, it's the least.
Right.
What the wind direction has on fishing,
It
I
might.
don't know.
You never know.
No, but that's huge down by us too. I mean,
Yeah.
that is east wind. Is a bad wind for Oneida Lake. People say.
There's a whole world of what ifs and how comes and why is it doing this and what's this? How are they feeling? When are they going to bite? Why aren't
Right.
they biting?
And that's
That's
why
the
we
beauty
love
of
it.
fishing.
That's right, man. That's the beauty
That's
of
the
it,
beauty
man.
of
You know?
fishing.
It's always an unknown.
Absolutely.
Always. Just
Yeah.
when you think you got her figured out,
Oh yeah.
some
She
wrench comes
changes.
by and hits you in the head, and you're like, oh, that.
And
gotta
this is
think
what I
again.
can't wait to find out. I mean, you guys. I mean, I don't think you guys really appreciate or understand the amount of pressure that our lakes get on the East Coast. I mean, the population is triple what
Well, yeah,
you
we
have
live
out
in-
here. You know,
There's so many lakes around here. You could step on one that's never been touched ever.
right?
You know?
Or has been touched in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the fish are so educated by us. You know what I mean? They have seen everything.
They're smart.
And I'm just wondering if Stormy can come out here and have a good day, because of these uneducated fish,
Hey,
You're gonna
go
have a great
first and
day,
go to-
Oh, I know. I'm going
You're
to
gonna
kill
have
it
a good
tomorrow.
time fishing. Well, how was this fun?
Oh, this was a
Let
blast,
everyone
man.
know this
It was a
was the
blast.
bee's knee.
Absolutely.
I wonder if we could talk him into moving.
Yeah.
You got to talk to the wife, man.
What's her number?
Huh?
Call her right now.
Oh, I don't know. I got a 13-year-old son, so I got to wait till he gets out of high school.
No, I'll just move.
Oh,
That's
no,
when I
I
moved.
can't
here.
just got a great
That's
school.
when I moved. He's
He'll
not even in
love
high
it.
school yet.
Huh?
Does he like
not even in
to
high school
hunt
yet.
fish?
No, not really.
No. Okay.
No. He's
He'd be bored
uh,
up here then.
huh?
He'd be bored up here.
No, he wouldn't because the tech up here is good.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
He likes the tech.
Oh, he's tech. Yeah.
See, that's the other side of that a lot of people don't know about me. Well, more and more people don't know. I'm very much a tech nerd.
You techie nerd? Yeah.
If I didn't have fishing, I'd be a cubicle tech, 3D
Oh, yeah?
print and
He
3D
likes
CAD.
it.
3D printing, huh?
3D printing
yeah.
CAD works his thing.
Oh my gosh, man! Did you see that one booth at the show where if you took a bowl of clay and you grabbed the bowl of clay and then he 3D scanned your grip and created a handle for the rod.
That's
exactly
Ace Custom Rods.
huh?
Ace. Was it
Is that Ace?
Yeah, Stuart Manning. Yeah, he's a good friend of
Because
mine.
they were right up by us on the top, on the
Yep.
upstairs.
Yep, that was Stuart Manning. Matter of fact,
Okay.
I sent him a 3D. It's a 3D file. It's already been sliced. That's stereolithography talk there. Of
Did you
a
get
rod
that?
holder
Huh? Did you get that?
Record that.
and that I designed. And I printed myself when I was working at a 3D printing company.
Really?
Down in the cities, and we're going to do a little tradesies there. But he's got a 3D printer. Yeah, I've seen his little handles and
That's
stuff.
pretty cool, though. I mean, that's where all this is going in
Yeah.
some cases.
There's last year, and I'm sure this year too. There's a few things there that basically caught the fish for you, and I'm just like, so don't even fish. Be at home in your sofa with a remote catching fish.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
saw
crazy.
that too.
But I hope you had fun.
I did.
mean,
I did.
this-
It was a good time.
It was good to have someone come out from another part of the country that is a different change of pace than what we're used to,
Mhm.
and super appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
I had
Thanks
an
for having
absolute
me,
blast,
guys. Yeah.
Stormy. I wasn't joking when I said, "Man, I wish this guy lived here. Could just do this every day."
You guys got to come. You guys got to come east one time.
I'd love to.
Fish
We're talking
addiction.
about it 'cause
Fish addiction
glaciers
show
out there.
during the fall, and I'll take you yahoos out, and we'll do some salmon fishing on the river, man.
We should
And you'll
figure out-
never miss it again.
If I could get out there fast, which would be airplane.
Well, I'll pick you up in
I'd,
Syracuse.
I'd like to come out, bring my video stuff. We'll do some video action stuff, and we actually might, because Glacier's kind of out there in a sense. They want us to go out there. And
I work for a company that builds the crank down wheelhouses.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Crank down a hydraulic Glacier ice house.
Right.
And we have a dealer out in New York.
Oh,
State.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
See, that's a thing that we are so not accustomed to.
that's why they want us to come out.
You know, it's so not
something.
accustomed to. I don't know how much ice you guys got to have before you put those things out there.
A lot.
depends on which model. We have them. We build them up to 24 foot. That's just the box. Doesn't include the V front. Which is
Right.
4 feet.
And I mean, I was looking at some of these things
They're
this
heavy,
weekend.
man. They're
man.
beautiful, though,
Oh
aren't
my
they?
God, man! If something ever happened, if I was solo again, that's where I would live all year.
They're tiny
know?
houses.
Yeah, that's all they are,
That's
right?
why I can't watch some shows anymore. I'm like, you really, man? You're going to spend $150,000 on a 400 square foot house?
Right.
I could spend 30 on one that I can fish through the whole.
I mean,
Floor
just
width?
unbelievable, man. It's just
We put showers, toilets, and
the use of space
yeah.
now is just incredible with those trailers. I mean, it was. I mean, I bet you I took 2 hours walking through the whole section of the show. Just
there were some beautiful
oh
ones.
my goodness, man. You know, what about the Bearcats and the Snowcats? Do you see them monsters
Oh,
downstairs?
snow bears?
Oh my goodness gracious, $100,000.
To drive around on the ice, and it hydraulically puts you
Oh
down.
my
It's warm.
gosh, man. That's
beautiful.
incredible.
Well, Glacier, I got the number today. They sold 10 houses
Really, at the show?
at the show. They sold 3 24-footers and a bunch of 17-footers.
Well, talking about guys coming to the show with a purpose.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they
because
gotta
I
go
was
there knowing they're gonna
upstairs,
spend that much money.
right, and because I was upstairs where most of the houses were, those guys that come in to just to buy a fish house, there was a lot more people than I thought.
They're not going there on a whim that they're going to spend
right,
$30,000,
$30,000, $40,000. Yeah,
they're
man.
going there, be like, oh, I guess I'm going to buy this today, honey. No, they went there like, all right, I'm buying a house.
Right.
Which one?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they got the pink one for the cancer.
The cancer one.
Yeah, that was
So-
cool.
Stephanie. Yeah.
That was cool. That
Well,
was cool. All right,
we
you better
had-
wrap it up,
we
or
had
we'll be
an
here all night, man.
Awesome deal
Yeah,
with
man.
you.
I
Don't
had a
forget
blast.
social media. For you as well. Some of your social media pages, but SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, the whole works. YouTube. Don't forget to like us, share us, follow us on Facebook. Send us more grip and grins. We've been getting a lot of those. Basically, a photo of yourself in a hunting, fishing situation. Send us a little story with it. Email at brokenlinepodcast@gmail.com. Just hit us up online. Talk to us. Any questions that you have. We'd like to throw more of your questions in. And we had a blast with you.
Yeah,
We had an
likewise, man.
awesome
Likewise.
blast with you. So you ready for that ending?
You ready?
I'm ready. So I'm Aaron,
I'm Stormy.
I'm Patrick.
and this is
The Broken Line.
There you go.
Nailed It.
Thank you for listening to Broken Line Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.